Hi, welcome to our channel of ignou audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Social Sciences, SOSS, Master's Degree Programs, MA in Psychology, MAPC, Second Year, MPCE 022 Assessment in Counseling and Guidance, Block 4 Organizing and Planning Counseling and Guidance, Unit-3 Organizing and Evaluation of Guidance and Counseling Program, 3.0 Introduction. Guidance and Counseling Program plays an important role in educational institutions. The main function of this program is to assist the students in self-understanding, making intelligent choices and adjustment in life. In Unit 2, you have studied the assumptions and principles of guidance and counseling. According to the assumptions and principles of guidance and counseling, the ability of an individual to make intelligent choices and adjustments in life has to be developed. For this purpose, a counselor has to know the developmental tasks at each stage and the objectives to plan the activities. In this unit, we have described the components of guidance and counseling program, developmental tasks, and the guidance calendar to help you to design a comprehensive program to render guidance and counseling services to all students to help them in their academic, career and personal development. Few exemplar activities are also suggested. 3.1 Objectives. After completing this unit, you will be able to times describe components of guidance and counseling program, times plan the guidance calendar, times define developmental tasks, times identify developmental tasks at elementary stage of education, times formulate objectives of guidance and counseling activities at elementary stage, times identify guidance and counseling activities at elementary stage, times identify developmental tasks at secondary and senior secondary stages, times formulate objectives of guidance and counseling activities at secondary and senior secondary stages, and times identify guidance and counseling activities at secondary and senior secondary stages. 3.2 School Guidance and Counseling Program. In our country, generally guidance and counseling programs are of remedial nature, provided to only those students who have some problem and who approach professional counselor, teacher counselor for help. Comprehensive guidance programs do not exist in most schools as of now, and therefore all students are not benefited by it. Further, guidance and counseling programs are mostly organized at secondary and senior secondary stages. Seeking guidance is a universal need, and therefore it should be made available to all students for their all-round development. Guidance and counseling programs should be designed in such a manner that these enable individual student to cope up with his/her developmental needs specific to particular age levels. 3.2.1 Developmental tasks at different stages of education. Every stage of development of an individual has certain personal development goals or tasks. Students have to make successful adjustments in response to personal needs and societal demands at various life stages. The school should contribute to the accomplishment of these. Therefore, it is necessary that guidance activities programs should be developed keeping in view the specific developmental tasks to be mastered at each life stage of an individual. Hames, Hohenschel, 1987. According to Havigust, 1972, a developmental task is a midway between an individual's need and a societal demand, and as arising at or about a certain period in the life of an individual. As per this view, if an individual has to function effectively, he/she has to master these developmental tasks at each life stage. This contributes to his/her happiness in the present and also increases the chances of his/her success and happiness in the future. A counselor should keep these developmental tasks in mind while planning guidance activities, programs. Havigust, 1972, Gisbers, Henderson, 1988, and Merrick, 1987. We know that a developmental task is a skill that an individual must learn at a particular time in his/her life if he/she is to function adequately as an individual and as a member of society. All developmental tasks are interrelated. The individual works at them more or less constantly no matter what other pressures may be imposed upon him/her. His/her goals may or may not always coincide with the goals of the institution. A student has to accomplish a development task at its appropriate time to avoid any difficulty in future life stages. Teachers should know about these developmental tasks to help students while they are making efforts to accomplish these. Above description suggests that the maturational and societal demands are different at different life stages of an individual. Therefore, the nature of guidance activities would differ according to these stages. Nature of student population and the type of school. However, some broad guidelines for developing guidance programs have been provided by Bhatnagar and Gupta, 1999. Table 3.1 shows the sequential nature and focus of guidance activities at different stages of school. Bhatnagar and Gupta, 1999. Table 3.1 Guidance at different stages of education. Look at the SSCREN. According to Bhatnagar and Gupta, 1999, the early stage of education being formative aims at developing competencies, skills and attitudes to help students cope with early stage developmental tasks. These tasks help in handling the developmental tasks of later stages. During the middle and secondary school stages, physical and mental growth are at a faster rate, hence exploratory activities help students to acquire a clear self and career identity. Efforts at resolving the identity crisis would help the students make adjustments and cope with various personal and career concerns of this stage. Guidance and counseling services provided in the early years help in creating initial awareness of personal, social, and career-related tasks. 3.2.2 Components of Guidance and Counseling Program. Before a counselor plans the activities, he/she should know the essential components of guidance and counseling program. Gordon, 1999, emphasized that the activities of the guidance and counseling program will depend upon the following components. 1. Individual planning. This includes the guidance and counseling activities meant to assist all students to plan, monitor and manage their own personal development. Activities of this component of the program are offered to all students and are meant to assist them in the development and implementation of their personal, academic, social and career aspects in accordance with the skills and information they gather. This component generally offers students the opportunity for self-appraisal and to plan for the world of work. Individual or group activities help students to understand themselves and the environment. 2. School guidance and counseling curriculum. This refers to a curriculum designed to serve all students of a particular grade level or group. The main purpose of this curriculum is to provide knowledge and life skills to students. The curriculum emphasizes decision-making, self-knowledge, career exploration and career development. Following 3 major areas are included in the curriculum. A. Learning to live, understanding and appreciating the self, home, family, and others, developing a sense of community, making decisions and setting goals, and understanding safety and survival. B. Learning to learn, making decisions, setting goals, and taking action, understanding interaction between home, family, school, and community. and understanding factors which affect school achievement. C. Learning to work, learning the relationship between personal qualities and work, exploring careers, learning how to use leisure time, learning the relationship between education and work, learning to work together, and learning how the community relates to work. This curriculum should state the goals for guidance instruction as well as student outcomes. It is essential to educate parents and the community and also establish collaboration with them for successful implementation of guidance curriculum. The curriculum is delivered through the following activities. A. Classroom activities. The guidance and counseling curriculum should be taught in the regular classroom. B. Group activities. Group guidance and counseling activities such as class talks, career exhibition fairs, visits to workplaces, role plays, audio-video shows, etc. should be organized. C. Parent education. Parent education orientation is essential to associate parents in guidance activities. This is done through conferences, seminars and meetings. 3. Responsive services. The third component of guidance and counseling program is responsive services to facilitate healthy personal, social, educational and career development of students. This includes preventive, developmental and remedial guidance and counseling as well as consultation and referral services. Counseling is either individual or in groups. Consultation would be with parents, teachers and other professionals, while referrals would be to other specialists or programs. 4. Counseling service. The main purpose of counseling is to establish a relationship leading to personal development and decision-making. This is done through self-understanding and self-knowledge and knowledge of the environment. The service provides an opportunity for verbal interaction between the counselor and the client to assist the client to deal with a specific problem which could be physical, academic, emotional, personal, and/or social. Basically, this service offers clients the chance to make decisions and solve problems.
The counseling service recognizes the uniqueness, dignity, value and respect of an individual. The provision of such a service acknowledges the fact that students need assistance to cope with the complexities of life. Classroom teaching alone may not meet the needs of the client effectively. 5. Referral service. Some problems and concerns require services of well-trained and skilled professionals who have expertise in assisting these individuals. There should be a network of referral services, which include social workers, doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, priests, police and others. 6. Consultation service. It is important to know that clients are not only students but children, sportspersons, boys and girls, working with a number of people who wish to contribute in the welfare of students. Therefore, the counselor or guidance teacher should consult parents, subject teachers and other school staff, librarian, warden and hostel staff to ascertain various changes in students' behavior that might have occurred. Consultation with teachers is an important means of increasing teacher awareness of issues their students face. Such consultations may also demand referral. 7. Appraisal. This service gathers personal information about the learner and assists the individual to understand herself better and provides essential facts about the learner to the counselor or guidance teacher for decision making. 8. Placement and follow-up. The main purpose of this service is to assist students to achieve their career goals, e.g. by assisting them with subject selection or placement in a class or school, based on the subjects offered. It takes into account the interests, aspirations and abilities of the learner. This service offers the counselor, guidance teacher an opportunity to collect, analyze, and use a variety of personal, psychological and social data about the students using testing and non-testing techniques. 9. Research and evaluation service. Research and evaluation are designed to determine the effectiveness of a guidance program. It is through active research that counselors or guidance teachers can upgrade their programs to ensure that they address the needs of the clients. 10. System support. A comprehensive guidance and counseling program needs support of the system such as staff development, the necessary resources and facilities, finance, and policy support. The above support is essential and should be considered while designing the program to ensure its proper implementation. The guidance program should also identify other programs that need its support, such as special education, vocational education, etc. 3.2.3 The Guidance calendar is governed by the needs of the students and meant to complement classroom activities. A guidance calendar facilitates planners to manage guidance activities efficiently, taking into account the time of the year most suitable for certain activities. It also ensures the appropriate use of resources. The guidance calendar is part of a school guidance program and shows all guidance activities, such as class talks, career talks, tours, visits, career exhibition, fairs, talent shows, seminars, drama, etc., that are planned in the school to fulfill needs of students other than the curricular and co-curricular and which cannot be met in a classroom. Activities may be planned weekly, fortnightly, monthly, quarterly, or annually depending upon the objectives and requirements. The guidance calendar helps in avoiding overlapping with other school activities and also give advance information to the administration and the target groups. While developing the calendar, the date, time, target group, guidance service activity, and human and material resources should also be indicated. As we know that guidance is a cooperative service, staff, parents and community members should be involved in drawing up the calendar. 3.3 Organizing Guidance and Counseling Program at Elementary Stage. As you know, the elementary stage include classes 1 to 8 and the age range of students is 5 to 13 years. Guidance program at this stage helps students to acquire the developmental tasks successfully. It is important to identify students' academic and personal, social needs as early as possible to facilitate them in learning and academic achievement. A teacher counselor can help in this regard. At each stage of education, 3 basic needs, academic, career and personal social, have to be fulfilled by organizing guidance and counseling activities.
3.3.1 Developmental Tasks for Early and Middle Childhood. August 1972 has suggested the developmental needs of individuals according to their life stages. At each stage of development there are certain developmental tasks, and guidance and counseling program formulates the objectives and plans different activities which can help students in mastering these tasks. We can take some direction from the following developmental tasks for early and middle childhood while planning guidance and counseling program. 1. Learning physical skills necessary for ordinary games. 2. Building wholesome attitudes towards oneself as a growing organism. 3. Learning to get along with age mates. 4. Learning an appropriate masculine or feminine social role. 5. Developing fundamental skills in reading, writing and calculating. 6. Developing concepts for everyday living. 7. Developing conscience, morality and values. 8. Achieving personal independence. 9. Developing attitudes toward social groups and institutions. Considering above developmental tasks, we can design the guidance and counseling activities. However, Gibson and Mitchell, 1986, emphasized that the activities should be developed keeping in view the following characteristics of children at this stage. Elementary school children have not by now developed any group identifications, they are still experiencing continuous growth. Development and change. Times he/she is continuously integrating experiences. Times he/she has a limited ability to verbalize and to reason as reasoning powers are not yet fully developed. Times his/her ability to concentrate over long periods of time is limited. The child's enthusiasm and interest can easily be aroused. Times their decisions and goals serve immediate purposes as they have difficulty in visualizing long-range plans. Times open display of their feeling is noticeable. 3.3.2 Objectives and activities for elementary stage. We have to formulate the objectives to facilitate individuals to achieve above developmental tasks. We have to plan activities according to the needs and objectives. We categorize these development tasks into following three main heads for our convenience: I. Objectives and activities for academic development; 2. Objectives and activities for career development; 3. Objectives and activities for personal social development. The following guidance activities are only exemplar. Teachers, counselors can further modify, adapt, add activities according to the resources available to them. 3.3.2.1 Objectives and activities for academic development. 1. Facilitating students adjust in school. This objective will be to help students to make smooth transition from home to school and understand the relationship between performance in classroom and success in school. Suggested activities: times organizing meetings for parents about school rules, program policies, services, facilities, etc. Times orienting parents and children by providing booklets, handouts, brochures, and diaries about school rules, programs and its activities. Times arranging school visits of parents along with children. Times showing displays, exhibits of children's work. Times showing films on school activities and programs. Times arranging orientation talks for parents about school's programs and activities. Times making small play groups to provide opportunities to children for interaction with peers. Times making children talk about their role model, favorite persons, play, activities, hobbies, pets, etc. Times using puppet theatre, songs, etc. to orient the children about school activities. 2. Developing basic academic skills. Students may be helped through this objective to use basic academic skills, reading, writing and arithmetic, to achieve success in academics, develop communication skills and demonstrate ability to work independently as well as in cooperation with peers. Suggested activities: times orient teachers about learning aids, tools and techniques to improve academic skills of students and motivate them to use these to facilitate children. Times administer testing and non-testing tools and techniques to identify deficits in learning of basic academic skills in children. Times form study groups and encourage students to participate to enhance their academic skills. 3. Increasing enrollment and reducing dropout. Guidance activity may motivate students to continue education, maybe through formal or alternative systems of education. Suggested activities: times interacting with teachers and parents to identify academic and personal problems of students who are intending to leave school. Times identify community resources and communicate to parents to help such students overcome financial and or other problems in continuing education. Times providing information individually or in group to such students about other systems of education, open school and non-formal system, to meet the educational needs of students. 4. Improving relationship between teacher and student. Improved relationship between students and teacher would make the students comfortable while interacting with the teacher generally and at the time of any academic or personal difficulty. Improved relationship will increase among students a feeling of belongingness and being understood and welcomed by the teacher in school. Teacher-students relationship needs to be more congenial in case of students belonging to rural background, from socially disadvantaged groups and girls. Suggested activities: times collecting information about students' personal and family background and developing students' personal information blank cumulative record card. It can be obtained through interaction with the students, their parents, family members, teacher, peers, etc. Anecdotal records, observation, rating scales can be used for gathering such information. Times orientation of teachers through talks, discussion, case presentation, seminar, etc. on how to reinforce desirable characteristics, behaviors, and habits in students. Times orientation of teachers through video films on creating a warm climate, in the classroom to develop positive self-concept in students, times orientation of teachers using role play, etc. to develop listening skills and skill of using body language to communicate warmth and affection to students. 5. Identifying learning difficulties in students. This would facilitate students to get special attention of teachers and would facilitate teachers to individualize teaching learning process, suggested activities, times conducting achievement test for identification of children not achieving minimum levels of learning, MLL, in language, arithmetic and environmental sciences, times meeting with teachers and parents for identification of children with learning problems such as lack of motivation, poor concentration, difficulties in writing and reading, poor handwriting, poor memory, etc. Times administering diagnostic tests or using observation for identification of children with visual auditory perceptual deficits, attention deficits, hyperactivity, etc. Times orienting teachers in using multisensory and other individualized approaches in teaching for children with a variety of learning problems, times planning and organizing special physical activity for hyperactive children to burn up their excessive physical energy. 6. Developing skills for taking tests and other evaluation. This would help students to develop study habits, management of time and task. They would feel relaxed and get prepared at the time of test. Suggested activities, times organize class talk on advantages of class work and homework to make students to understand the need and importance of completing class work and homework. Times help students to develop individual study plan and follow the plan too. Avoid anxiety and stress at the time of tests evaluation. Times orient students about different techniques of maximizing learning and memory of different concepts and contents. 7. Developing skills to make decisions. This would encourage thinking in students. They would explore new ideas and answers, learn to take responsibility for their decision and actions. The activities to achieve this objective would inculcate competence and confidence in students. Suggested activities, times present problems related to daily routine and ask students to make their own decision to solve the problem. The problems need to be according to age and context of students. Times organize class talk on relationship between school subjects and future educational opportunities to facilitate students in setting academic goals. 8. Developing study habits, skills and attitudes. This would benefit students in achieving success in academics. Developing positive attitude towards studies will enhance academic performance and they would be able to utilize their time properly for studies and other activities. Suggested activities, times organize class talks, workshop and brainstorming sessions to develop interest and positive attitude towards developing study habits and skills. Times organize sharing of experiences of successful students on effective study habits to motivate other students to follow. Times collect good books on developing good habits and motivate students to read. 9. Identification of children with special needs and helping them. This would help such students to cope with their problems and progress in academic area with special provisions and facilities. This would also help these children to make adjustment to home, school and community at large. Suggested activities, times use psychological tests, observations and interview with students, parents and teachers to identify and diagnose the type and degree of disability. Times organize a class talk on problems of such children to create awareness among other classmates and teachers to facilitate these children in learning and performing in academics and other activities. Times organize awareness programs for parents and other community members about the type, causes, degree and of disabilities and strategies to deal with them.
Organize counseling sessions to develop self-esteem and self-awareness among these children. Collect information about the schemes, facilities offered by government and non-government organizations and supply to these children and their parents. Prepare referral to appropriate agencies, professionals if required. 10. Identification and helping children with special abilities, talents. These children would be benefited by getting special treatment from the school administration to further enhance their abilities, talents. Suggested activities: use psychological tests, observation and interview with students, teachers and parents to identify children with such talents. Collect information about opportunities, facilities on such talents and supply information to parents and students. Prepare referral to appropriate agencies, professional for their placement. 3.3.2.2 Objectives and activities for career development. 1. Assisting students to develop general awareness about the world of work, work attitudes, values and habits. This would create awareness among students about different types of work in the world of work. Suggested activities: organizing competitions such as chart, poster, essay, debate, projects on topics related to develop work values, attitudes and habits. Asking students to prepare write-ups on the job, professions of family members, relatives, people in the neighborhood, etc. Organizing role play, puppet show, fancy dress show, visits to workplaces, etc. to orient students about the work different professionals do. Preparation of scrapbook on their interest areas with pictures of workers and if possible interview with workers and employers. Screening of video films on different aspects of work. 2. Developing work attitude, values and habits. Students would be able to inculcate proper attitudes and values towards all kinds of work and develop habits and characteristics required to do particular type of job, work. They will be able to develop team spirit, cooperation and problem-solving skills. Suggested activities: organize exhibitions, games, sports, etc. and engage students in group work to develop team spirit, time management, problem-solving skills, etc. 3. Developing decision-making skill in selection of courses. Students will be helped to understand the relationship between educational achievement and success in career. This will help them to make career decisions and set goals and identify their interests, abilities and skills and relate with current career options. Suggested activities: identify the interests of students using interest inventories and give them assignment or projects, individual or group, to collect information on the jobs, occupations related to their interest. Help students to explore the suitable options in selecting educational courses. 4. Exploring career options. This objective would facilitate students to explore various sources to collect career information and develop strategies to achieve career goal. Suggested activities: organize visits to workplaces to provide opportunities to students observe actual work setting, utilize library sources, newspapers and internet. Orient students to utilize library sources, newspapers cuttings, internet etc. to get detailed information about the career in which they are interested. Organize class talks, group discussion or interaction with experts on topics like need and process of career planning, developing life skills, developing hobbies, use of leisure time, developing good work habits, values, attitudes, etc. 5. Exposing student towards a wide variety of career choices. Students need to know about the diversity in career options, choices. They can analyze the traditional and emerging occupations and relate to their choice based on the knowledge of world of work and its requirements. Suggested activities: organize class talks, career talks of professionals, entrepreneurs to give detailed and first-hand information about their respective occupations and the lifestyles. Assigning projects, group or individual, to students related to their subject matter and occupations related to them. Provide opportunities to students to observe the actual work situation and interviewing the workers and the employers. Preparing occupations-based folders, leaflet, posters, charts by the students and display for larger dissemination. Organize career exhibitions, career fairs, etc. 6. Self-understanding and its relationship with world of work. This will help students to know their strengths and limitations and their relationship with career choices. Suggested activities: assessment of students' personal characteristics, abilities, special abilities, interests, personality characteristics, attitudes, values etc. using psychological tests, observation and other non-testing tools, rating scale, anecdotal records, etc. Providing career, educational and occupational both, information through organizing career talks, career exhibition or display of charts, posters, leaflets, folders, interaction with professionals, entrepreneurs, field visits etc. 3.3.2.3 Objectives and Activities for Personal, Social Development 1. Developing a positive self-concept, appreciation and respect for all human beings including peers irrespective of caste, creed, religion, sex and socioeconomic status. Through this objective, students would understand themselves, positive self-image, and the people in their surroundings, develop respect for all in the society, interdependence of communities, characteristics, peculiarities of different individuals, communities, and appreciate ethnic and cultural diversity. This also facilitates exhibiting proper behavior and feelings in a social group. Suggested activities: organizing self-expression activity in the classroom on who am I, my characteristics, my weaknesses, limitations, my likes and dislikes, I am proud of, I enjoy, etc. Organize sharing of experiences of students on our festivals, our special food, my family, our customs, stories related to our religion, etc. 2. Building social skills. Students learn to distinguish between socially desirable and undesirable behavior, learn to identify feelings and emotions and possible ways to express their feelings with others. Suggested activities: organize group discussion or role play or storytelling on appropriate and inappropriate behaviors and their impact on peers, parents, siblings and others. Ask students to prepare write-ups on feelings and behaviors of elders towards them and what modifications they would like in their feelings and behaviors. 3. Preventing violence and substance abuse and inculcate conflict resolution skills. This objective is to help students to learn about the violent activities, behaviors and their effect on themselves and others, drug abuse and how to keep them away from such negative actions, and how to inculcate skills to resolve conflicts. Suggested activities: organize role play, storytelling, video film shows on incidences of violence, fighting, bullying, negative remarks, teasing, and seek responses of students. Organize group discussion, workshop or brainstorming on preventing violent behavior, drug abuse, smoking and other group, gang activities. Preparation of charts, posters, newspapers cuttings on such incidences and organize exhibition to create awareness about violence, drug abuse and other bad habits. 4. Educating for building character and moral awareness. This would help students in developing self-discipline and using right ways of approaching problems in life. Suggested activities: citing stories and role models to enumerate importance of developing good traits and values. Identification of personality traits, values, habits, attitudes in role models for effective and successful living. Using value clarification exercises, e.g., choosing among equally competing alternatives. Presenting hypothetical or real-life difficult situations to create moral awareness, e.g., should a child tell lie to protect his, her peer or sibling from punishment, use violence to protest, stealing to help someone in need, etc. 5. Enhancing personal social development. This will help students in differentiating between different types of situations involving interpersonal relationships and respond appropriately.
Suggested activities: times organizing role play, group discussion or class talks to make students understand difference between aggressiveness, assertiveness and shyness, times organizing brainstorming session to develop an action plan for setting realistic goals and strategies to achieve these goals. 6. Making students aware about the physical changes taking place at particular age levels. This will lead to the acceptance of physical changes taking places during growth according to the age, and realizing individual differences in physical growth. Suggested activities: times organize talks of medical experts, developmental psychologists on physical growth and development, times organize group discussion panel discussion of medical experts, developmental psychologists on significant physical changes and their implications on physical, personal, social and emotional aspects of an individual during pre-adolescent and adolescent periods. Times provide situations where students can talk about the physical changes experienced by them. This will help them in understanding the concept of individual differences in this respect. 7. Making the students understand the preference of making friends at pre-adolescent and adolescent periods. This will help students to understand why same-sex friends are preferred by them during pre-adolescence stage and friends of opposite sex during adolescence stage. This will help in reducing anxiety about opposite sex. Creating healthy friendship by paying less importance to gender considerations. Suggested activities. Times organize class talks of professional to explain them the issues related to sexuality and attraction towards opposite sex to be a normal phenomenon. 8. Making the students at pre-adolescent stage understand the traditional sex role stereotypes and breaking them. This will help students to understand the need of gender-neutral roles in present-day world and breaking sex stereotypes for a healthy development of the society. Suggested activities. Times organize discussion among students on characteristics of males and females and their implications for sex role stereotyping. Times organize role play and or screen video films to help students understand the sex role stereotypes prevalent in the society and how to strengthen gender-neutral roles. 9. Developing skills to face demands of adolescence stage. This will facilitate students to take holistic approach to life, respecting alternative points of view, developing communication skills using speaking, listening and nonverbal behaviors. Suggested activities. Times organize group discussion, workshop, talks of professionals, role play, etc. to develop effective communication skills. Times organize role play, puppet show or case study method to make students realize the need of maintaining good relationship with parents, siblings, friends, peers, teachers and others in the society. Times organize role play to develop skills for developing effective interpersonal relationship. Times organize talks of professionals to teach techniques to develop coping skills to deal with problems, managing stress and resolving conflict. Times provide personal or group counseling to those students who are suffering from such situations problems. 10. Developing basic skills to develop friendship and deal with peer pressure. This will help students to select friends as per their likings and requirements and how to cope with peer pressure. Suggested activities. Times develop and use a questionnaire to know the opinion of students about the need of friends, qualities they expect in friends, etc. Times help students to identify and develop friendship with like-minded peers. Times organize class talk on the concept of positive and negative peer pressure and how to cope with negative peer pressure. Times organize workshop to overcome negative peer pressure to develop a healthy independent personality. 11. Making students understand that they are responsible for their behavior. This will help them in taking appropriate decision while choosing between options having different results. Suggested activities. Times collect problem situations and present to students and ask them to think about the action they would take and the outcomes of their actions. 3.4 Organizing guidance and counseling program at secondary stage. In previous section of this unit, we have discussed the developmental tasks at elementary stage, classes I to 8, and the objectives of guidance program to facilitate proper development during this stage. In this section, we are focusing on the secondary stage, 9 and X, and senior secondary stage, 11-12. The age groups include children between 14 to 18 years. We know that during these stages the physical growth is very fast and psychological changes also take place accordingly. At this stage, children demand more independence and desire to adopt adult ways of behavior, their life styles, etc. According to the ASCA model, 2003. The period of secondary and senior secondary stage is full of growth, promises, excitement, and hope. On the other hand, children at this stage also face frustration, disappointment, stress, conflict, etc. As senior secondary stage is final phase of transition from adolescence to adulthood, the students explore all aspects of life. They need to be prepared to leave school and plan to enter the larger world. Another important aspect of this stage is getting membership in the peer group. For adolescents, the peer group holds an important place. Gibson and Mitchell, 1986, have categorized the priority concerns of adolescents into following ways: I. Developing as a social being, 2. Developing as a unique, and 3. Developing as a productive being. 3.4.1 Developmental tasks at secondary and senior secondary stages. 1. General developmental tasks. Havigost, 1972, has identified following general developmental tasks for these stages: times acquiring new and more mature relations with age mates, times learning an appropriate social sex role and responsibility, times acquiring emotional independence from parents, times preparing for an occupation, times acquiring a set of values, times selecting a partner. 2. Vocational developmental tasks, corresponding to the general developmental tasks. Super et al., 1957, have suggested following vocational developmental tasks for vocational life stage, which he termed as the exploratory stage: times acquiring identity as a worker, times choosing and preparing for an occupation, times getting work experience as a basis for vocational choice, times assurance of economic independence. 3.4.2 Objectives and suggested activities for secondary and senior secondary stages. Before you plan activities at these stages, you should know about the characteristics of such schools in our country. Following are a few characteristics. Bhatnagar Gupta, 1999, times a large number of students than the capacity of a classroom, times heterogeneous group of students due to geographical and social mobility of people, times more emphasis on academic pursuits and achievements by parents and school management due to school leaving stage, times lack of space, finance and trained guidance personnel for organizing, systematic guidance and counseling program. In the backdrop of above constraints, a counselor teacher has to formulate the objectives and plan guidance activities for academic, career and personal social development of students. Schools may vary in formulating the objectives as per the requirements and in organizing activities accordingly. Following are few among many objectives and activities which a school may plan. 3.4.2.1 Objectives and activities for academic development. 1. Developing study skills. The students are assisted to become independent learners. They learn to manage time for studies and co-curricular activities and hobbies. They learn skills of speaking, listening and nonverbal behavior for effective communication. Suggested activities. Times organize workshop small group activity of students on how to obtain academic curricular information using various sources, manage and apply the information. Times organize class talks of professionals on development of study habits, time management, gathering information knowledge, increasing memory, etc. Times organize group discussion sessions to encourage students to talk, discuss, and listen to others on various topics. Times assigning projects, individual or group, to develop interest in seeking information on difficult concepts, topics to encourage self-learning. 2. Facilitating and strengthening self-understanding, self-acceptance and self-direction. This will help them to make appropriate academic and personal decisions. This will also help them in making successful academic adjustment. Suggested activities. Times assessment of students' personal attributes such as their abilities, aptitudes, attitudes, values, personality characteristics, and also information like family background using testing non-testing tools and techniques. 3. Assisting students to solve their educational, personal and career-related issues. Students are benefited by knowing educational and personal requirements of occupations and making decision to opt for a particular educational course. Suggested activities, times organize career talks, group discussion and exhibition to help students relate personal characteristics to requirements of education and occupations. 4. Identification of children with special needs and helping them. This would help such students to cope with their problems and progress in academic area with special provisions and facilities. This would also help these children to make adjustment to home, school and community at large. Suggested activities, times use psychological tests, observations and interview with students, parents and teachers to identify and diagnose the type and degree of disability.
Organize a class talk on problems of such children to create awareness among other classmates and teachers to facilitate these children in learning and performing in academics and other activities. Organize awareness programs for parents and other community members about the type, causes, degree of disabilities and strategies to deal with them. 5. Identification and helping children with special abilities, talents. These children would be benefited by getting special treatment from the school administration to further enhance their abilities, talents. Suggested activities, use psychological tests, observation and interview with students, teachers and parents to identify children with such talents. Collect information about opportunities, facilities on such talents and supply information to parents and students. Prepare referral to appropriate agencies, professionals for their placement. 3.4.2.2 Objectives and Activities for Career Development. 1. Assisting students in career exploration and career planning. The students will understand the importance of qualities such as shouldering responsibility, punctuality, integrity, hard work, values etc. to become successful at workplace. With this objective, students make assessment of their career plans according to their educational qualifications, develop competency in their interest area and develop career maturity. Suggested activities, organizing career talks, discussion, field visits, interaction with workers and exposure to workplace for career exploration. Screening of video film to give exposure. Assign projects to students on careers related to their abilities, interests and personality characteristics. Help students to surf internet for career exploration under supervision and guidance of the counselor, teacher counselor. Orient parents and teachers to help them in self-understanding, career exploration and career planning. 2. Helping students make realistic vocational choices and setting goals considering all relevant factors. This will help students to develop competencies in their interest areas, assessing their career plans according to the educational qualifications and also to develop career maturity. Suggested activities, organize discussion, workshop with career experts, career exhibition, to provide career information to relate personal factors to the requirements of various training courses and occupations. 3. Identification of students with special needs and learning difficulties and helping them in career development. This would help such students to assess themselves and accordingly make vocational choices. Suggested activities, use psychological tests, observations and interview with students, parents and teachers to identify and diagnose the type and degree of disability. Collect information about the schemes, facilities offered by government and non-government organizations and supply to these children and their parents. Prepare referral to appropriate agencies, professional for their placement. 4. Helping students in selecting educational courses and career within a broad occupational field keeping in view all relevant factors. This will give a wide range of educational and occupational information to facilitate students in selecting proper academic, vocational, training course. Suggested activities, use group methods, career talk, career conference, career exhibition per day, visits to workplace etc. to help students to obtain detailed information about many traditional and emerging occupations. Orient students to use assignments, interview or observation to obtain first-hand information from the workers, professionals working in the areas of their interest. 3.4.2.3 Objectives and Activities for Personal, Social Development 1. Enhancing understanding about the self. Students would develop ability to do planning for life goals, short and long term, and learn coping skills to manage life events. Suggested activities. Use assessment procedures, testing and non-testing, to develop understanding about the self, abilities, aptitudes, interests, personality characteristics, etc. Organize group discussion, workshop, to enhance self-awareness and self-esteem.
2. Developing social skills. Students will be benefited to know the importance of effective interpersonal relationship and communication skills, rights and duties as a productive member of the society, and learn to identify and discuss changing personal, social and family roles. Suggested activities. Times organize training session to improve communication skills, assertiveness, interpersonal skills, etc. Times organize debates, group discussion, role-play drama, etc. on social issues such as relationship between rules, laws, and protection of rights of an individual. 3. Preventing violence and substance abuse and helping students resolving conflicts. This objective is to help students to learn about the violent activities, behaviors and their effect on themselves and others, drug abuse and how to keep them away from such negative actions, and how to inculcate skills to resolve conflicts. Suggested activities. Times organize role-play, storytelling, video film shows on incidences of violence, fighting, bullying, negative remarks, teasing, and seek responses of students. Times organize class talk on types of violent behaviors and their implications. Times organize group discussion workshop or brainstorming on preventing violent behavior, drug abuse, smoking and other group gang activities. Times arranging talks of medical experts professional on drug abuse and its consequences on academic, career and personal social development. Times organize visit to the addiction center and create awareness about the negative impact of drugs on career and personal social development. Times presentation of case studies of drug-addicted people and organize discussion. Times assign projects to students to interview people suffering from drugs, preparation and display of charts, posters, newspapers cuttings on such incidences, and organize exhibition to create awareness about violence, drug abuse and other bad habits. 4. Helping students with special needs in social skills. This will help the students with special needs in developing social skills and personal skills. Suggested activities. Times organize counseling sessions to develop self-esteem and self-awareness among these children. Times creating awareness among the peer group and doing group work involving children with special needs. 5. Identification of exceptional gifted children and assist them in furthering special ability. These children would be benefited by getting special treatment from the school administration to further enhance their abilities, talents. Suggested activities. Times use psychological tests, observation and interview with students, teachers and parents to identify children with such talents. Times collect information about opportunities, facilities on such talents and supply information to parents and students. 3.5 Evaluation of guidance and counseling program activity. Evaluation of comprehensive guidance and counseling program is important to know its effectiveness. While evaluating the program, we have to keep following points in mind. A. Program objectives. The first point in evaluation is to know how far the objectives have been successful in fulfilling the needs of the target group. B. Program content. Is the content relevant to the program objectives, and does it cover those objectives adequately? C. Program methodology. Here we are concerned with how is the whole program organized. Are there better methods than the used to cater to the needs of the group? Is the frequency and duration of the activity in the program appropriate? While evaluating individual or group activities, you may use one or more evaluation methods appropriate to the activity as described in Unit 4 of this block. The feedback from the target group can be obtained using checklist, rating scale, questionnaire, interview schedule, etc. 3.6 Summary. Although a guidance program should be designed as a constellation of services to improve the overall adjustment of a pupil, very few counselors in India are able to organize comprehensive guidance programs due to various reasons. To organize such a program, it is essential to systematically plan and administer guidance activities in order to achieve its objectives. Guidance activities have to be planned keeping in mind the developmental needs of the child and societal demands and expectations. In order to organize a suitable guidance program, the needs and problems of students should be surveyed. This is important because program goals, objectives, implementation strategies, evaluation techniques would all depend upon the needs of the target group. The school counselors, therefore, should be well versed with need assessment procedures. They should also make a survey of resources in and outside school in order to utilize them in their work. In India, there are various models of guidance services. Some schools have full-time counselors, while some have teacher counselors, and a large number of them have careers teachers only. The nature of guidance needs and problems of different populations vary. Accordingly, the guidance program structure and organization would also vary. The content of guidance program will also differ at different stages of development, since the developmental tasks which the individual has to cope with differ at different stages. Various psychologists have identified these developmental tasks for different cultures. The guidance workers should have an understanding of these in order to plan relevant activities for a particular stage of development in a particular culture. Ideally, the guidance program should be planned from elementary through senior secondary stages. However, in India, due to various constraints, these programs have not been introduced at the elementary stage. All the same, the importance of this stage cannot be undermined. This being the formative stage, various developmental and preventive activities would lay the foundation of desirable habits, attitudes, skills, and competencies required for the development of a healthy personality. Onset of puberty causes a lot of turmoil in an adolescent's psyche. Appropriate activities to help the perturbed adolescent youth cope with the demands of this stage need to be organized. The secondary stage brings additional concerns for students in terms of various educational and career-related decisions. Choice of suitable subjects has to be made keeping in mind the future career options. The major focus of a counselor's job is therefore at this stage to help the students understand their aptitudes, interests, and values, assist him in understanding the world of work and its demands. Group guidance and individual counseling are therefore used by a counselor for assessment, imparting career information, and providing help in taking decisions related to career and personal social concerns. The follow-up of the outgoing students is a source of educational and career information to the counselor. It also helps him/her in evaluating the impact of various guidance activities. It should therefore form an integral part of a guidance program. Research and evaluation studies should also be taken up by the counselor to bring about improvements in the school guidance program. Thank you. Subscribe to our channel for more updates, and we will see you with the next chapter.